The annals of history are filled with tales of kings who waged wars, forged alliances, and betrayed their own blood for power. But few stories are as shocking, as morally ambiguous, or as ruthlessly pragmatic as that of the king who gifted his own queen to his enemy. This wasn't just a political maneuver, it was a calculated act of survival, a cold-blooded exchange that blurred the lines between strategy and sacrilege. To understand this betrayal, we must first step into the brutal world of ancient power struggles, where thrones were won not just by swords, but by cunning, where love was often a liability, and where women, even queens, were bargaining chips in the games of men. The king in question ruled over a realm teetering on the brink of collapse. His enemies encircled him, his allies grew restless, and rebellion simmered in the hearts of his people. In a desperate bid to stave off annihilation, he made a decision that would etch his name into history, not as a hero or a conqueror, but as a man who valued his crown above all else, even above his own queen. The details vary depending on the chronicler. Some say the queen was offered as part of a peace treaty, a symbolic gesture to seal the bond between two warring factions. Others claim she was a literal hostage, handed over to ensure the king's compliance. And then there are the darker versions, the ones that suggest the queen was never given a choice, that her fate was sealed the moment her husband deemed her expendable. What makes this story so chilling isn't just the act itself, but the silence that surrounds the queen's fate. History, written by the victors, and almost always by men, rarely bothers to record her emotions. Was she terrified? Defiant? Did she plead with her king? Or did she accept her role as a sacrificial pawn with grim resignation? We don't know. What we do know is that this wasn't an isolated incident. Across cultures and centuries, queens and noblewomen were traded like commodities, married off to secure alliances, taken as captives to humiliate their husbands, or discarded when they no longer served a purpose. The king who gifted his queen was simply playing by the brutal rules of his time, but that doesn't make his choice any less horrifying. The aftermath of this betrayal is shrouded in mystery. Did the strategy work? Did the enemy accept the queen and spare the kingdom? Or was this a futile gesture that only delayed the inevitable? And what became of the queen? Was she treated with respect in her new home? Or was she forced into a life of humiliation and servitude? The historical record is frustratingly silent, leaving us to fill in the gaps with our own imaginations. But perhaps the most haunting question of all is this: how did the king live with himself? Could he look into the eyes of his courtiers, his children, his own reflection, knowing what he had done? Or did he convince himself that it was all for the greater good? That a kingdom without a queen was better than no kingdom at all? This story forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about power, gender, and the lengths people will go to preserve their own legacy. It's a reminder that history isn't just about dates and battles. It's about the human cost of ambition, the silent suffering of those who never got to tell their side of the story. And it begs the question: if you were in the king's place, what would you have done?